This episode of the Libby O Show is brought to you by Suite 501 and Integrated Production Solutions.
Hey everybody, I'm Marc Martel and you're watching the Libby O Show.
How did she do it? Do it.
Libby, oh, Libby, oh, Libby,
3, 2,
Libby.
1.
It's the Libby O Show.
Welcome everybody to a new episode of the Libby O Show. I'm your host, Libby O, and today's guest has toured over 25 countries with his Queen cover band, The Ultimate Queen Celebration. He's reached over 250 million streams on YouTube and Facebook, and he's working on a brand new EP project with Jonathan Cilia Faro. Welcome, Mr. Marc Martel. How
That's
are you?
me.
That's you.
Hi.
Hi. The last time I saw you, you were dressed as Johnny from Schitt's Creek.
Yep.
And I'm going to show a photo, obviously, because
Nice.
so many people Halloween last year dressed as the Schitt's Creek cast.
That's true.
So really hard to say.
Yeah.
Y'all killed it. You
Yeah.
and your wife.
Well, and
Crystal.
we documented it very professionally too,
Yeah.
as we do, as my wife is a professional photographer. And yep, she loved that show. I didn't really watch it. I just kind of saw it in the background while she was watching it and thought a lot of it was good. And I appreciate Catherine O'Hare and Eugene Levy and from the what's that? Those movies that they were in, like Waiting for Guffman and all that stuff.
Yes.
But I didn't watch the new show very much, but it seemed like the characters were really well fleshed out, so why not do it for Halloween?
Why not do it for Halloween? Something to celebrate. And I got to add, we're going to talk about a lot of Queen extravaganzas in this episode. But your life is an extravaganza, I feel like. Y'all capture everything.
I mean, yes. My wife loves to celebrate life, and she captures it in all sorts of different ways. And I feel like I'm just kind of. I try not to just be along for the ride. I try to be as much as involved as I can. But it's. I will never out celebrate her. She's the pro at it.
She is, for sure, and so fun to be around. I got to talk about first your single that you're releasing May 14th, Too Much Love Will Kill You.
Mm-hmm.
This is a Brian May original, and you are releasing it with opera singer Jonathan Cilia Faro.
Yeah.
And Crystal did the visuals, and they're stunning.
Yeah, she does pretty much a lot. Well, I wouldn't say all my visuals, but she does all my photography basically. And, sometimes we'll hand off the actual design of artwork to someone who does it for a living. But even she does that sometimes too. So, and she knows how to fix all my blemishes. So that's helpful.
Love that. And I want to mention too, off of that, y'all work with a very small team. And I've, watched your live streams on your social media and just everything you do. And it's so streamlined and looks so professional.
Thank you.
So kudos to you for that. But talk about working with a small team.
Yeah, I'll relay that to the team. We are, when we say we, it's basically my wife, my manager, Josh, and I. And we farm out a lot of things to, like radio promotion and PR and all this stuff. But my manager, Josh, worked at the same record label that my old band down here was signed to.
Okay.
So he's got a lot of experience in that world and is also one of my best friends. So it's just kind of like a perfect situation where someone has your best interest in mind. And then obviously my wife, so I have implicit trust in my team, and we've got all the skills to kind of handle most things, and we're low to the ground and agile.
Yeah.
We can move quick.
You can.
Not like a big record label. So
Yeah.
I think that's the way to do it these days.
Well, super excited in all that you have accomplished. Even putting together the intro for this, I was like, what do I even highlight? Because there's so much that you have experienced as someone that's covered Queen songs, but also as a original artist. But I want to talk about the EP Forte for a second.
Yeah.
Features 5 tracks, 5 different languages. You sing German for the first time on this. How was that?
I haven't done it yet. As of right now, as of the filming, but I'm planning to do it.
Yeah.
So Nessun Dorma, which is like one of the most well-known opera arias, is something that I've already recorded in the past. So I did a video a few years ago where I shaved half of my beard off, and because I discovered this beautiful aria that's been around for like 100 years.
Okay.
And I was like, man, I want to sing this song. And I wonder if Freddie Mercury ever got to sing with Pavarotti back in the day. And I looked it up, I did some research, and I was like, no, that unfortunately never happened. So I was like, well, I'm going to make it happen on my own. So I got Crystal involved. She filmed while I was singing one take, and I would switch between like my fake opera voice and my best Freddie Mercury. And she would, like, as I'd move between the voices, she would move around me to film like which side of my face I was doing. So I named that video the Mercurati. And so yeah, I've kind of dabbled in Italian a little bit.
Yeah.
I grew up in Montreal, so I'm fluent in French, but I haven't really sung much in French at all, except from, going to church. My dad's a pastor at a French church, but other than that, like, I haven't done much recording in French. What else are we doing? We've got Spanish on it, German, Italian.
Too Much Love Will Kill You has...
Too Much Love Will Kill You is Italian and English. And that is actually the song that sparked the whole project with Jonathan.
Okay.
I've known Jonathan now for a few months, and he is an immigrant from Italy. And he was actually in attendance at a Pavarotti and Friends concert in 2003 in Italy. And that was actually the show that Brian May was there to perform Too Much Love Will Kill You with Luciano Pavarotti. And so Jonathan was in the audience, and himself, I think he was already a professional singer at the time. And he was like, man, I'm going to record that song one day with someone, if I can ever find someone to do the Freddie Mercury. And so he moved to Nashville, like, I don't know, a year ago or something like that. And through different connections, we met. And so now we're doing this whole EP together.
I love when organic situations like that come together.
Yeah.
Where you don't have to try too hard, and it's just like destined that you were supposed to do a duet. And I feel like a lot of your duets are so specific, and you're very like, this is what we're going to do, and it just works. Like you're, for example, with Amy Grant, doing the Christmas Waltz and having that old school orchestral feel to it is also so Amy Grant as well.
Yes. And it was really hard to find a Christmas song that Amy Grant hadn't already recorded.
Right.
I have been doing Christmas music now. I think I've released an EP for the last 4 years straight, maybe 5. So my repertoire is growing, and hers is obviously way bigger than mine. And so it took us a while to find that song. And the Christmas Waltz wasn't actually a song I was familiar with. And it was one that Sinatra did a lot. And I fell in love with it. And thankfully she'd never recorded it. And we knew that we wanted to do like a throwback, big kind of 50s orchestral arrangement. And we found the right guy for it, Cody Fry, here in town. And that was a home run.
It sure was. And Michael W. Smith has been a part of those collaborations as well. So share a little bit about the Christmas album that you released that featured the only Queen Christmas song ever. Thank God It's Christmas.
Yeah. So I guess, Queen does have a Christmas song. It's not, I don't know if it's super well known. Had you ever heard it before?
I have never heard it until I watched your live stream and was like, I had no idea they released it. Yeah.
I hadn't heard it growing up. I mean, I wasn't into Queen growing up, but I'd only been aware of it for like the last few years. Like it wasn't a song that was on my radar. But obviously being in the Queen tribute world, a lot of my, subscribers were asking what fans subscribe. What do you call them these days?
They're lots of different names.
People who follow my career had been asking me to record this song. Obviously, like, you do Christmas, Queen has a Christmas song. Why haven't you done this yet? And so I think maybe it was the fact that it was very much like, if you hear Queen's version, it's very it's got a specific sound to it.
It does.
I don't want to say dated, but it's like you hear it and you're like, oh, I know exactly like the year they recorded that. It's like all synthesizers and fake and programmed drums, and so obviously it's sometime like around 1980. And so I just never really loved the song, but then I got into it and kind of took it apart myself and tried to come up with my own version. I'm like, you know what, this is a good song. I'm going to record it. And so I went with my kind of go-to rock choir thing, and I think I came up with a pretty good version of it, and it's on my most recent Christmas EP. Mm-hmm. Thank God it's Christmas.
Thank God it's Christmas. You can stream it everywhere. You can stream it right now, honestly, if you want. I don't think any time of year is bad to stream. Some people would disagree with me on that, but.
And I feel weird saying that I don't love any Queen song, but you know. They did a lot of songs, and I don't love all of them. I really love a lot of them.
I mean, and that's all that matters, right? Really.
Settle down.
And you mentioned earlier about doing your best Freddie Mercury, which I'm just like, if those of you that are watching that haven't heard it, it's not, it is almost Freddie Mercury. Like, it's hard to even
It's weird.
Compare.
It also felt weird saying those words because, like, I don't really, it's not an impression. It's just kind of comes out naturally.
Yeah. I can tell it's like not even hard for you to just, but I watched this YouTube video. I just Googled your name just to see what came up on YouTube. And there's this one fan that literally went through the Bohemian Rhapsody film and like picked out all the vocal. I'm like, first, who has time to do that? Two, I was kind of wondering, do you ever get your own voice confused? Like, if you're listening back, does it confuse you?
It has happened, but it has to be off in the distance in another room of the house.
Okay.
Like, it's happened a couple times where my wife was listening to something, whether it was Queen or me, and I had to stop for a second and go, no, that's Freddie.
That's definitely him, 1,000%. And just to give a little background, everyone, he's one of three voices in the biopic Bohemian Rhapsody, and it's really awesome.
Yeah, I don't know that anyone out there that as far as what I've seen on YouTube is people trying to guess scenes that I'm in. I've never seen anyone get it all right. So
I feel like that's kind of the fun of it.
I think that is the whole point of it. If you can't tell, then mission accomplished. Mission accomplished.
And I feel like Freddie Mercury was a mystery himself. I mean, obviously he was out there public with a lot of things, but like he is a mystery, and I think it keeps the fun in it to kind of not know who's who.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Well said.
So in terms of producing your own music, what has been your goal in that area of your career?
It's been something that's been a little bit on the back burner. Besides Christmas, we've been very intentional about Christmas every year. As far as writing my own music, I've really taken a break from it since this whole touring Queen music has really taken up my whole life. Basically since 2015, 16. And it is just like it seems like I could be on the road doing that for as much as I want. Yeah. And sure enough, like 2019, we did 129 shows. I was gone for about 90% of the year. Crystal was able to come with me. She had a broken ankle and was on crutches, like just zooming through airports. We were in so many airports in 2019. And so the whole doing my own music I always think about it. Like I always want to get to it, and it's just hard to carve out the time. I've never been a guy who could write while I'm on the road. Even when I was in a band and we had our own bus, and you know that's about as easy as it can get when you have your own space if you're going to be productive on the road. But even then, like I need my space. I need my familiar tools. And now that I've been home for a year, I've really started to write again, and it's been so amazing. And I got to do a Zoom write yesterday, and with this guy in LA who's amazing, Paul Duncan, and we wrote a whole song in an afternoon, which I haven't been able to do and haven't done in a while. And I feel like I'm getting my writing legs back, and hopefully we'll be, have enough songs that I feel like are good enough to release to the world sometime sooner than later.
hopefully sometime sooner than later. Any songwriters or producers, aside from Paul, that you look up to or that you're really thankful that have been a part of your career in creating your own original material?
I had an amazing experience in 2013, 14, which is the last time that I really released original material. I did a whole solo album called Impersonator. And I did the whole thing in LA with a producer named John Fields, who I met through my manager at the time. And most of the record was written in the studio. So John was connected to a bunch of LA writers, and like every couple days he'd bring in what they call a top liner, who is basically brought in just to write the lyrics and melody or help with write the lyrics and melody. So I would typically come with the nugget of a song, and John, who's like a whiz producer, amazing, he'll build a track while you're writing the song, and I'll be sitting on the couch with the top liner, like working on the lyric and everything. And so the whole record was written that way. And that was, he's one of my favorite guys to work with. Another one of the guys that I love working with is Mark Heimerman, who produced my favorite work that DC Talk did. He did Jesus Freak and the follow-up album, Supernatural. And he's also one of my dearest friends, and unfortunately doesn't live in Nashville anymore. But he's also one of my favorite guys to work with, just a super talented guy. I used to play keyboards for Amy Grant and Michael W. Smith in like the 90s, early 90s. But we're kindred spirits, and I always love get a chance to work with him and write with him. But I do a lot of it. I do a lot of it on my own, like in my home studio. Even when I do a demo of a song, like I imagine what it might sound like released in its final release. I don't know that I'm that good of a producer myself to take something that I've produced, although I have released some of the stuff that I've like on the Christmas stuff, stuff that I produced myself. So I'm gaining confidence in that, and I love it. I love being a producer as well as a performer. So.
Yeah, and just having the ability to create and not have any limits or timeline, just to do it for fun and for your own inspiration. Yeah,
and living in Nashville, just knowing so many players who now have been forced to have their own home studios. They can just like call a guy and say, "Hey, can you throw some drums on this?" And then a day later it's done. It's pretty amazing.
Can you talk about the covers that you did on, or I guess it was virtually during the pandemic, Under Pressure you did as well with some of your band, and that was really well done and put together. So talk about how you filmed that, because I feel like that was something a lot of people did, a lot of artists did during the past 2 years. So talk about how you produced those.
My band, the Ultimate Queen Celebration, we've tried to, stay on people's minds as much as possible while we can't tour. And I really have my keyboard player, who's also the MD of the band. He's really organized, and he's like been able to, round up these musicians in my band to like record from their own homes. And we've released Under Pressure, Fat Bottom Girls,
Somebody to Love,
and we're working on a new one that'll be out in the next couple months. But yeah, I mean, everyone in my band has the ability to record their instrument, and whether it's just their cell phone, and do the video aspect of it, and then I compile all the audio and video at home and edit the video myself, and which I also love. It's a lot of fun. And so it's so cool because I get to not only edit the video, but like mix the audio.
Yeah.
And it's like two kind of different skill sets all culminating into one big project.
For sure. And then it kind of reminds people what it's like to go see live shows, which hopefully we're having soon. You're supposed to go on tour with Jonathan.
Yes.
In 2022.
Well, we don't have anything set in stone right now, but the whole idea behind this Duets EP with Jonathan Faro, the opera singer, is to kind of open up a new, fan base, or just like a new way of touring, whether that's not strictly Queen, not strictly solo stuff. we both have very international fan bases, him being Italian, and he lived in Canada for a long time. So he's got like he does some French as well. And me, and also just from the sheer vastness of Queen's renown. I mean, with the Queen thing, I've toured literally all over the world. I think on your sheet there it says 25 countries.
My notes.
It's
all the facts.
I think it's about 25 different countries. Yeah. And so this is a way to give people something that's hopefully in their, it's only 5 languages. There's nothing in Korean or Chinese in there, unfortunately, but maybe we'll get to it someday.
You'll just release a second version of this album in a ton of different languages. It's really cool. Are there any original tracks on the EP, or is it all what? It's
all covers. They're all songs that work well for male duets, which isn't always obvious. Like you can't just have 2 guys singing a song that was like Endless Love. I don't know if that would work. Maybe it would. If it depends on the attitude you give it. Like my manager Josh likes to say, like, Sinatra used to always do love songs as duets with other guys in the Rat Pack and stuff like that. I'm like, so okay, it can be done, but I don't know. It's not something that I'm used to. So it was interesting finding the songs to do it. Too Much Love Will Kill You was a no-brainer because of the performance with Brian May and Pavarotti. There's actually 2 sort of Queen songs on this project. Barcelona, which was not a Queen song, but Freddie Mercury did with Montserrat Caballé, who is one of the greatest sopranos of all time. So Jonathan is singing a female's part, but, an octave lower.
Yeah.
And then there's Miserere, which is a huge song that actually basically launched the career of Andrea Bocelli, which was actually written as a pop classical duo. So that was also a no-brainer. And then we're doing a song by Edith Piaf, Non, je ne regrette rien.
Not going to repeat that myself.
And the one that I'm singing in German is Nessun Dorma.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Amazing. So I got to ask, do you truly believe that too much love will kill you?
That's a great question. I think if it's what you might put love in air quotes, then yeah. I mean, it does feel a little weird singing that kind of song coming from the contemporary Christian music world.
Yeah.
But we all have different experiences with what we might call love, and the wrong kind can definitely be detrimental, to say the least,
to your health and those around you.
Yeah.
So we got to clear up. I talked to you about this before we started the shoot. Everyone, you need to go look up on YouTube Marc's performance for Celine Dion, and you make her happy cry. But I need you to clear up some things about this video, about this experience.
Well, that's the thing. Like, if you just watch the video out of context, it's like, wow, I come out on the stage and she bursts into tears. Like, that's amazing. How does that make you feel? I'm like, well, okay, I know what happened right before that, which was a really great Quebec female artist sang the song that was hers and her late husband's.
Okay.
It was like their favorite song, and she got really emotional during that song. And then as soon as that song ended, Somebody to Love starts, and she's already emotional. And crying. And then I come out with this big triumphant Queen song that she loves. And, it was just a lot of emotion for her. So.
Yeah. So lots of emotion. If you need to be emotional today, just go Google Celine Dion, Marc Martel. It's great. And half of it's in French. So I didn't know what she said towards the end, but
all good things.
All good things.
I swear.
As it should be. Something interesting about Freddie Mercury's life that you personally have always found to be, I don't know, unique or interesting from what people generally know about him?
His love for cats.
Okay.
Yeah. Big cat guy. And I think that when I discovered that about him, that just kind of sealed the deal. I was like, yes, I'm going to be singing this guy's songs for the rest of my life.
He's got to like cats.
I grew up with cats. So I think that's the thing I would say.
I love it.
Yeah.
That's so random. I didn't even know.
That, and he was a big smoker.
Oh, okay.
But not me.
Not you. But you're like, I could live vicariously through his
smoking.
His smoking.
His secondhand smoking.
That's awesome. Well, we are going to play a game of extravaganza Pictionary, or Pictionary extravaganza, whatever you want to call it. You also draw, which Crystal informed.
I do. I love to draw. I drew a lot when I was a kid. My skills in drawing kind of stopped at the age of 16 or something like that, and I never studied art or anything like that. But had I not had such a love for music, that's something I may have gone into in an alternate life.
Well, we obviously know who's going to win this game of Pictionary. So we're going to definitely play that. Mark's also going to perform some music for us as well. But before we go, where can people keep up with you with the new Project Forte coming out?
Yeah, markmartelmusic.com, YouTube, lots of content on there, and, Instagram.
Well, thanks for being on the show.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
All right. Well, thanks for joining us, guys. Have a great weekend and take care.
It's the Libby O Show. The Libby O Show. It's the Libby O Show. It's the Libby O Show.